Three, two, one. It's Wellness Week. There's Magnus. It's me. Everybody, how are you? The summer's coming to an end. Oh my gosh, folks. The summer's coming to an end. We got three great topics because the summer's coming to an end. Number one, when you were a kid, what summer jobs did you have growing up? That's number one, or one of them. Number two, there's a guy on the internet, and he loves eating raw meat and organs, and he works out like a crazy man. So we're going to give our opinions on what this latest fad or show, and we kind of review what we think of, really more not the person, but the process or the things that he does or doesn't.
The concept.
Yeah, working out 5 times a day and eating meat, all meat, it seems like. And then the other thing is, what can we do to make ourselves happier people? So like, disconnect the internet, things like that. Okay, so now you have to forgive me. I was just drinking soda, so I got a belch. I'm not going to burp into the microphone, but
how are you?
Doing good, dude. How's it going by you, by the way? I know you.
It's kind of a leading question. We just had a power outage, so it's also a heat wave, so it's pretty like warm in the house, and our computer didn't start up correctly, so I'm using the laptop, and it just shows you how brittle our society is when it comes to technology and these things.
Well, we forget, right? I mean,
yeah,
we forget that we're a minute away or a second away from really kind of losing it all. As great as any country may be, yeah, I mean, anything can bring down a power grid or health situations with the pandemic we were just gone through. It's almost an illusion to think like everything is so secure and everything's predictable. In a way it is, in a way it's not. We're still this fragile entity called life. But anyways, okay, so let's talk about this guy is on the internet, and he advocates eating more meat, and kind of almost like a prehistoric living, doesn't take a lot of showers, and he's not into a lot of technology. He's always advocating, disconnect your phone, your TV, which is fine. But, and
then he flies on a private jet. That's, I mean, like, dude, come on, like talking about cherry picking. Right. Anyhow.
No, but his big thing is, the meats, right? Eating organs, eating meat. And what, Magnus, when I first saw this guy, and I'm kind of interested in what he has to say, because my first thing when I saw this guy, I was like, oh, give me a break. Like his lifestyle's crazy, eating meat, working out 5 times a day. And then I said to myself, well, wait a second. I mean, if I'm going to say his lifestyle is crazy, well, let's look at the American lifestyle. Cake, cookies, pasta, bread, sitting and binge watching, and cake and cookie and alcohol and sitting and more sitting. Like that, our American diet, that's not crazy. But like eating meat all day long and working out, that's crazy. I mean, of the two, I'd make the argument the American lifestyle is actually crazier than just eating the meat and working out. I mean, so it's kind of funny because it's like, drinking alcohol all the time and eating cake and cookies and bonbons and ice cream and pasta bread and sitting and binge watching, like that's normal. That's healthy. But like, okay, I mean, I would say at least this guy's working out and he's in amazing shape. I mean, but I mean, obviously balance, right? You want to have your vegetables and some carbohydrates from vegetables. But anyways, so what say you, Magnus? What do you think of this guy and this whole craze about prehistoric?
I wouldn't say. I mean, I'm not gonna point any fingers of just this like individual alone. It's more the whole concept nowadays. It's like the more of a circus act you have, the more of like a following you get, because no one really wants to hear of like what is healthy, what to do to be healthy, and like standardized that kind of living. It has to be an extreme.
Right, and nobody wants to hear moderation, right? They all want an extreme, right? Do crazy stuff this way or that way, but
So like, and the thing is, like, it's an interesting, like, don't get me wrong, it's an interesting thing to kind of view a little bit from afar, because I don't really fall for that, and like eating intestines are very nutrient rich instead of compared to muscle meat, for instance. So in that case, it's cool. But the only problem is that he's coming out with a lot of like actual misinformation. He said something that
he has no classically trained.
Yeah, he has. I think he has a degree in biochemistry of all the things, of course. But it comes down to this, like what type of biochemistry, and also like how where do you get your information from, and how do you read research papers? So one of the things that he said is that if you're eating an organ, the cells from the organ, like from the animal that you get, will end up in the organ that, you know, like, so if you're eating a kidney, it's going to end up in your kidneys, right? Yeah, like, and he said that it was like isotope labeled, I think it's amino acids or something like that. Anyhow, that's how you label and see where things end up. Yeah, of course it ends up there because it ends up in your whole body.
Right,
so
everywhere.
It goes everywhere. So saying that it pinpoints and going to a single from an organ to an organ that you like ingest, it's just like, no, man, that's not really
misguided. True. He's telling half the truth, or he's only showcasing.
Yeah, I mean, his kind of twisting the information to his benefits, and that's called cherry picking, right?
Right.
And twisting and turning, and that's easily said. I mean, you, like with statistics and many things, you can twist and turn things, and also confuse the reader, like with how you write things.
Correct.
It's like using like the invert of this and that, and then you twist and turn. All of a sudden, it's like you have to be very focused on what you read and understand the language, or you're completely like not getting it.
Right. And yeah, and there's the danger of the internet, right? I mean, any of us can follow somebody thinking that they know what they're talking about, and maybe they only know half of what they're talking about. Yeah. They don't know anything at all, you know. But it's funny because I would say, well, if you have any questions, just look to where the healthiest people live and the longest lives lived, and that is the blue zones: Japan and Mediterranean, Italy, Greece. What do? Right, mostly vegetables. You know, they manage stress. They do a lot of walking, a lot of good family and friend connections, a lot of vegetables, very little processed foods or carbs. I mean, so really
reduce stress.
Right, they manage your stress well. So I mean, like that's if you're going to look at
social interaction, and we need to add that. That's one of the most important things.
Right. So yeah, I mean, look at it. You know, watching one person. You know, I would say, well, look at the macro level. Look at the blue zones in this world. But anyways, so yeah,
and also this is also interesting. It's like, well, what did he do before this? And like, there's a lot of accusations flying around about ab implants and PED use and stuff like that. And this is the problem. Like, I see this a lot about like with the fitness industry. Like, people, like, you see Instagram, you're on Facebook, you're on TikTok, whatever it is, and you have people selling their nutrition program, selling their training program, and things like that. They have no credentials, they have very little experience, and they did something that worked for them. Right. And then you just package it up, and then it's like, this is how you can look if you follow my program. Right. It's only $29.99. And then what you don't tell you is that there are a massive amount of steroids. Yeah. Like they're taking enhancement drugs. And I think that is such a, I mean, yeah, of course it's smart packaging and you sell, but you're lying to everybody. And I think that is not fair. Like, if you and I'm a person. If you use it, like, fine. Like, everybody else, like around the corner and on Instagram are using it. So, but just be honest instead. You know.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. So I just thought it was interesting because, like I said, the alternative is, well, look at the American lifestyle. I would say it's worse than what he's doing. But I mean, was there anything you wanted to add before we jump onto our next topic?
No, I mean, it's again, like, take things with a grain of salt. Like, and again, everything works until it doesn't work. Like, if you start eating more meat, yeah, you're definitely gonna eat more protein. If you're eating a lot of organ meat, yes, you will get a bunch of nutrients from it too. Is this sustainable long term? Probably not, but like it might be a short, like you like it's the same thing. It's a honeymoon phase when whatever you do, because you stop eating all the sugar and the fried food and the processed food and things like that, and actually started eating real food.
Yeah.
So
eat vegetables and certain fruits.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm more to that. Like if you like, I like the meat and vegetable kind of diet. That goes a long way. I mean,
balance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, like, and I think that people needs to take this stuff with a grain of salt. Like stop buying it just because a single person is saying that it works. Yeah, I mean, the carnivore diet, I mean, it's still kind of a new thing. There's not much research done on it. But it's the same thing. Like we've gone through the paleo diet, we've gone through keto diet, we have gone through low fat diet.
Yeah.
It's up to the individual. Whatever you can kind of like stick to
balance,
and do it for a long time, and it's getting you like into a better health. That's a good diet for that individual, whatever it is.
All right, fair enough. Okay, second topic. So let's keep it to one. So what was one or the most favorite summer job you had, Magnus, as a kid growing up? Because in the summers, a lot of kids get jobs, and that's all I did in the summer. I didn't even vacation. I couldn't wait to get a job, to get my own money. So what was one of your favorite jobs growing up, when you were either younger or during the summer or winter break, whatever?
So for us, it's a little bit different on what you can actually do or not. It's very structured by law. You can't, like, at that age when you're under 18, you're not allowed to work late. You're only allowed to work certain hours. You're only allowed to work with certain type of activities and so on. I like, to be honest, one of the things that I liked is, and it started early, is like mowing lawns, and like helping out, is go around, like the neighborhoods and your neighbors kind of give you a couple of dollars or whatever it was, and you're running around and using the like lawnmower and things like that. That was, I mean, that's a typical summer job, if you ask me. I don't know about not the kids nowadays, but that was growing up. That's what a lot of us kids did.
Yeah, same in America here. For me, a summer job for me, I was a little older, actually, not a kid anymore, but I got a summer job initially as a trainer for a gym, a gold gym, actually. And I loved that job. They had me doing training. I was working the juice bar. I was working, a little bit of sales, this and that. So
you learn that is a job that you learn a lot about. It's customer service and interaction, human interaction.
Right. So I loved it, and it's right up my alley because I'm very talkative, I'm gregarious. So that was a great job for me, and it went a little bit further than the summer. But I mean,
then I'll add one thing that I did actually enjoy doing. That was kind of a good summer job too. This is actually when I was in. When I was going to college, basically. So during summer times, we're not getting. So if you take a student loan, you don't get any money during the summer because you're not in school, right? So either you have to save up money, or what I usually did was actually working for the delivering mails. I was a mailman, basically. So and that was interesting because you actually get to see like how the system works, and like being out and about, and to be honest, I kind of extra cardio because we were running up and down the stairs and like throwing in mail. So I ran stairs, which was actually perfect training for football, and cutting, up the stairs, down the stairs, because a lot of those like old houses did not have elevators. So the rule that we have in Sweden, if it's more than 3 floors, I think it's actually, if it is 3 floors or more, then you need to have an elevator in the house. So, but like the buildings that were not like built before that rule got in, like either you have to construct somehow put an elevator into the house, or you just have to accept that it didn't have it. So I was running up and down stairs for several hours a day.
Oh, baby. Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, and I've had some jobs like that too. And definitely you feel like you got a good day's work in, right? You're up and down those stairs or whatever the heck you're doing.
Yeah.
But okay. Now my next thing is, so the third topic is, I was just thinking, was I reading a study that they were saying that people are more depressed nowadays than ever before, right? So I was like, okay, our last topic is how can we lead a happier life? And that might seem like a big question, but this guy, I forgot where. Oh, you know what? It was the dude that we were just talking about the first topic.
Yeah.
The guy with the meat and all that stuff. He went to some far off land and he asked this people in the third world country, do you guys have depression or do people report being depressed? And the people that he was staying with in this third world country were like, what is depression? Like they didn't even know what that is. Like it's not even in their vernacular because they're so tightly knit to their friends and family. They eat properly. They exercise daily, and particularly because of their strong social bonds. And so I think in America, particularly, we're always depressed, and even I can suffer from this sometimes too because of the social media. I think we always see what everybody else is doing, what you don't have, and the television and the movies and the media. Poor me, I don't have this, I don't have that. And I think one of the greatest things we can do to become happier is to actually meet up in person, to actually have a coffee or whatever, a beer or a meal face to face with somebody. Because I think as much as social media is great, it's contributing to our unhappiness.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things we can do is get off of social media, maybe just on it for like 30 minutes and the rest of the day, that's it. What would be one of your things, in your opinion, to make?
This is an interesting topic because I have actually been off social media for a couple of weeks now. I just needed a break. And I think that's, yes, sometimes you need to constantly get off and not have it around you. And actually today I actually met up with one of my former coworkers. And we went for lunch. We haven't seen one another in about 2 years almost. So we had a good sit down and just chit chat and just catching up on life, and that felt great, And I think that is what you said, leave technology alone. A couple of things that we have in Sweden is we go out for a walk together. Sometimes it's called a promenade. You actually go out and you just stroll. Usually, if you have a park or something like that, it's perfect. Or if you can go into a forest or something, or around water and just kind of relax. Another thing that I also like is something called fika. It's basically you sit down and you have a cup of coffee, or you share a little, a smaller, maybe a cookie or a sandwich, and just sit down and talk. And then you can actually combine those. You can actually get a coffee or a tea and be out walking and drinking and chatting. So
right,
those are things that I think is good, and especially it kind of depends on where you live and the weather.
Right.
But be able to go out and just nature relaxes us. Kind of turn off your phone, or at least stop getting notifications or anything like that. So
we do it to ourselves, man. It's
yeah.
we have the power, but we like to bitch and complain. Oh, the stress, but a lot of it we can control. Like I said, put the phone down. Disconnect. Like you said, get together with friends. I think that's the most important, is face to face contact.
Yeah. And some people might need alone time.
Well,
just wind down too, because if you're constantly in a interacting with people, sometimes you just need to be by yourself and just unplug. And maybe it's unplugged, sitting down and actually watching Netflix, if you seldom do that, or take up knitting, or write poetry or paint or whatever it is. So here's one thing that I do with a lot of my clients. It's start building a list of things that you enjoy doing and that you think are reduces your stress levels.
Right.
And then put time aside to actually do these activities.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yourself with other people, whatever it is, I think that is helpful because only you as an individual know what works for you.
Yeah, and you have to make the time to do it. And again, it is important, especially that I think more often than not, yeah, alone time is important. But I think where we are unhappy as a society is we're not getting enough face-to-face connection. Really. Yeah. But okay, so that by the way, before I forget, folks, don't forget like and subscribe. And we're not giving medical advice here. We're just two friends talking. But okay, Magnus. Now, anything else that you wanted to add before we wrap this show up, baby?
Well, thank you for having me again, and it's cool that we're over the century mark. We're actually into the second century now, so
we're getting into we're going to close in on 200, my man.
Yeah, no, it's like it's so fun being a part of this, and I like every day, and that's why like even with a power outage, I'm like. We have to make it done. We were already starting to talk about rescheduling and just finding a new time to do it. But I'm glad that things worked out, and I really like. We need to keep the ball rolling, and it's just fun.
The energy gods were like, "No, we will grant you a show." Okay, thank you. But
we can't have a week without it.
Tell you, man. No, and again, awesome. It's always great to have you too, and so I hope your energy stays on. Here in New Jersey, it's not that hot. It's about maybe 78 degrees. But I know I heard you guys are, you're sweating from every orifice over there.
Yeah, no, I mean, like when I got into the office, I was like, I was like also with the computer issues and things like that. I was starting to feel like, like the sweating bullets, and it's like, oh no, but it worked out somehow anyway. So we're good.
Awesome, bro. I'll let you go enjoy the rest of the energy now and the power that you have. But thanks, everybody.
Have a great week, and we'll talk next week.
You got it, Roger that. Thank you.